All right, let's build our treasure chest. What you're going to need for this is you're going to need some heavyweight chipboard. I have 8.5 by 11, a 12 by 12, um, which I will be using. You don't have to use the 8.5 by 11, but you do need 12 by 12 for the lid. So I use both, but just to kind of save on my chipboard. You're also going to need two sheets of 12 by 12 Country Craft Creation Artesian cardstock. This one is craft that I'm using, and you're going to need 2 pieces of that. You're going to need your glitter glue, uh, 3/8 of an inch score tape, and you're also going to need a bone folder, scissors, scoreboard, and your cutting board. So let's begin with the 2 sheets of the artesian cardstock. And again, everything that I'm using you can find in Country Craft Creations online store. This again is the artesian cardstock, which is just absolutely fabulous. So for the 2 pieces of the cardstock, what you're going to do is you're going to score it at every 1/2 inch. So just score 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, and I already scored mine just to kind of keep the video from being too long. And what you need, why you need the 2 pieces of cardstock is that these are going to be your binding strips. So what I do is I go ahead and I score mine up, and then I go ahead and I cut mine at 1 inch. So 12 by 12, so I set it at my 11, and just score it and bring it down. Move it to 10 inches, and bring it down. So what I'm doing is I'm actually cutting my 1-inch strips. And these are your binding strips. Okay, so I will set that aside for right now. So on your chipboard, here's the pieces that you're going to need to cut. So you're going to need your base piece, which is going to be a 7 by 11. So 11 inches long, 7 inches wide. You're going to need a back piece that is 5 by 11. You're going to need a front piece that is 5 by 11. And you're going to need 2 sides, which are 5 by 7 each. So that's going to be our base. So let's go ahead and start with that. And as you can see, I already started with some seam binding on my pieces just to kind of help move it along. So this is our back piece. On the seam binding, I do use the glue, the glitter glue, and I love this glue. It's one of the best around. I never used, really liked using glue until I tried the art glitter glue. So we're going to go ahead and just put some glue on our binding piece. Now, like I said, I've already done the 1/2, so half of it's on the back, and the other half is I'm going to attach it to the base. And I'm going to put it on here and match the ends. And then I have a piece that I use that are 2 pieces of chipboard that I glued together, and I want to make sure that I leave a space that is 2 chipboard width, so it's probably about 1/4 width, and just make sure that it goes down there. Make sure that your seam binding is on your chipboard. And what that allows you to do with that width is it allows it to bend, fold up easier. Let's use the front piece now, which is a 5 by 11. We're going to do the same thing with that we did with the back, and add the glitter glue to our seam bind, or craft paper, which is our seam binding. And again, match it up that it's, and I find that using this helps me be able to make sure that I have a good break between the two chipboards. Okay, there we go. There's our front and our back. So beginning, let's add our sides. Our sides again are 5 by 7, and you need 2 of these. Add our glue. Matching. Making sure that each end matches. And again, I'm going to make sure there's a little bit of a gap between the two. Oops. Oops. Sorry. I got that moving and I apologize. Okay, let's do the other side. Again, this is a 5 by 7 piece. This little treasure chest is going to be quite large, as you've seen in the picture. See if I can hold this over without hitting the camera again. And again, make sure you're applying pressure and slowing that down. Alright, so now we have our bottom, our sides, and our front and back. Okay, so then you want to take your seam binding strips and you want to cut it the width of your side. So it's a little bit longer than I want, but I do cut it, and then I'm going to go ahead and taper my ends just to give it a neater appearance. Okay. And I'm going to apply it to my side. Making sure, again, that it's firmly in place. And I'm going to do it to both sides of the side pieces. I'm going to turn this around just because it's easier for me to work this way. Again, I'm mitering my ends so I have a clean look and nothing's overhanging. Let's do the other side. And yes, I did pre-cut these just to kind of, again, help the video along a little bit so it's not quite as long. And again, just applying glue to one side. side. Now we're ready to start assembling and making it look like a box. So what I've done is I'm just bringing the sides up and adhering them together. And again, I apologize if I'm out of the camera angle here. So what I've done is I put the glue on there, and I'm going to just bring the back piece up and match it up like that, and then fold this over to secure it. And when I bring this up, I take the front piece and I match it up to fit right next to the side piece. This is going to be your hard one because it's your last one, so. And I'm just going to fold that up. Okay, we have our base. Now we're not done, because what we need to do is we need to reinforce the inside. So again, your binding pieces, measure them before you put glue on them and add them in. And these are going to go with your seam down. I'm just going to put it right in there. Alright. So I'm going to add glue to both sides. And see if I can do this one. See it in there. Now I'm just going to set it down and burnish it to make sure that it's secure. My binding is secure. Okay, there's one. And we're going to do the other 3 sides. Again, your folded side, open it, and add glue to both sides. And burnish it down. And all I'm doing here now is making sure it's down there. It's burnished in there good. Now, one thing I didn't do on the other 3 sides that you can do that really gives it a better hold is take your glue and run it up just the seam like that. I don't know if you can see it. And I should have done it on the other 3, and I didn't. And it's not going to hurt anything. This just allows it to make sure that it really holds in there. Gives it extra strength, really. So. Okay, all 4 sides are done. And then you want to take your a 12 by 12 and our sides are 11 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my strip to 11 inches and then remeasure to make sure. In there. Okay. We're going to line our corners. And I'm going to add my glue along the edge. Just a very thin line. Can you see it in there? Add my glue to both sides of my strip. And as you can see, it doesn't take a lot of this glue, the glitter glue. Just a nice line going all the way down. And then as long as you burnish it really good, it's going to grab. Okay, let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I may be able to do it with it being in focus for you all. But burnish it in there real good. As you can see, my reinforcement there. Just make sure that it burnished down good so it adheres. It's not going to pop back up on you. One more cut at 11. And this one's a little bit long. I'm just taking a little bit off the edge, just so it's a good fit. Add my glue, a bead of glue alongside the inside seam. You can see. There, there's my bead of glue. Adding my glue to my strip. Just going to stick it in there and steam unseam. Burnish it in there real good. Now we're going to do the two sides, and those are 7 inches. That's still too long. Okay. Need to glue along the inside edge. Furnish it in there real good. Okay, and the last one. And that one I may have trimmed down again too. So. Oh, still a little bit more. Alright. And my glue. And furnish down real good. Okay, now you have your bottom and your base. Now what I would do, let me find my pen for my glue so I can put that back on there. And over the side, I go. Get that in there. Collect my little mess here. Okay, so you've got your front, which I label mine. So this is my 5 by 11 front, my sides, and then on the back, I've got the 5 and 11 back piece. And what you want to do is you want to measure 3.5 inches from the bottom, and I just made little tack marks all along, and then I drew a line. So go ahead and do that now. Put your 3.5 inch line from the bottom, so 3.5 from the bottom, and that is where we're gonna adhere the lid to. Okay, so there's your bottom. So we can put that away, put that aside, and let's start on the top. Okay, so on the top piece, you definitely are going to need a 12 by 12 sheet because you're going to cut it 11.5 on one side and 11 1/4 on the other. Alright, and with chipboard, one side bends easier than the other. See how that one bends? So, you want the side that's going to bend like this side here, you want that to be 11 1/2. So this one is the one you want 11 1/2. So you want the length to be 11 1/2, the width to be 1 and 11 1/4. So you want to take the bend side, all right? You don't want to bend it all, but it's the one that's bendable. See how that bends over? This one won't do it. So find how it bends and then cut it. And you're also going to need a 7 1/4 circle. So 7 1/4 this way, 7 1/4 this way. And you're going to trace that onto your chipboard, and then you're going to cut it directly in half. These are lids for our lids. You're going to need your seam binding pieces, and on your seam binding pieces, on the lid, we are actually going to be using score tape because it's easier to do. On 2 pieces of your seam binding, you want to cut them to match your lid, which mine are cut at 11 and slightly less than 1/4 or a half. Okay, so this is 11 1/2, this is 11 1/4. So what you want to do in your seam binding is, you can see what I've done here. I've already done one side so you can see. So you're going to attach your score tape to both sides of your seam binding. Okay, and then on 1/2 you're going to make, and you only want to go up to the seam. You do not want to go the full seam. You do not want to cut over it. You just want to make little notches. And the reason we're doing this is because of the roundness of the sides, in order for it to hear right without puckering or having creases in our seam binding. All right. And again, I did do this 1/2 trying to cut down on the video, but I wanted to show you how to do this, and so I left some so I can do, and I'm just making little notches. No rhyme or reason on what size I'm using on the notches, as you can see. I'll show you here in a second. They're all different sizes, really, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Alright, so we've got, like I said, I've got one already done. I'm going to pull off the solid half. Just start it. I'm not going to pull it all the way off. And I'm going to match this up to I just want it along the edge. I got it over too much here. push that down good. So, okay, now you're going to take one piece of your side and we're going to start here. So you're going to have to, let me get another pair of scissors. These just seem easier for me to. Pull this tape off of these. Okay, this is new for me too, so we'll see if I've done this right. Let's hope I have the first time. It won't be unusual if it's not right, since this is my first try at this, but I'm going to give it a go here. Alright. So what I'm doing is I'm just rolling this Okay, sorry, I kind of lost you there, so just kind of work. Okay, well, let's see if it's not wanting to stay. I may have to use some glue. The ends do not want to stay. I want to keep popping out, but maybe once I do this side it'll work. Let's see. So let's go ahead and I'm definitely going to have to reinforce those ends, but we'll see. Maybe once I add this in and it helps this side. Alright, move that out of the way. Alright. Well, we're almost there. I'm going to add a little glue on that one. And I think the trick is, to be truthful, is make sure that you're rolling before you do the lid. This is where I definitely need some clothespins. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a little bit. Clean up my mess here. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and get my other two seam bindings done so we can reinforce them inside. And with this, we're going to have to notch both of them. So let's see. Let's see if I can do both sides at the same time. As you can see, I'm only not even going all the way up to the fold. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and add glue along the seam. Mm. Ladies, this is not as easy as it looks. But we'll get it there. Alright. So. Alright, so that's what I'm doing so far. And I'm just cutting off the excess seam binding because I did not get it the right size. But alright, let's try one more. You may only have to notch one side. It's a possibility. I'm going to try it this way and see if that will work. Go ahead and put my score tape on here. Whoops. I'm going to go ahead and just notch one side and see if that works. We shall see. Trial and error, right? Okay, it is working a lot better just by doing the one notch in the one side. Ugh. So that might be one of the tricks to this as well. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Just the one-sided notch. Alright, now the fun part is getting all this tape off this one. Oh, so much easier. Oh, so much easier. I may just go back and do the other side again, just to make sure it's reinforced good. So only notch one side. Like this. And then you just want to go back and brush. So much easier. Yeah. And then I'm going to cut off the excess here. Yes. Nice. I think that'll be alright on this side, even though I notched both sides. It's not going to show once I put the paper in there. So, alright. Let me get rid of some of my mess here. Clean it up a little bit. Put my glue, pin back on my glue. So it doesn't dry up on me. Okay. We need one more strip. I need strips. So let me go ahead and cut that. And figure out which one you want as for the front and the back. I'm gonna use this one for my back. So go ahead and measure your binding strip. You actually are gonna need two. Let's figure out how I Okay, so we want to add this to the inside. And it is too long. Still a little bit too long. Trying to figure out how I want. Okay. You know what? I'm going to use score tape on this because it might be easier. Alright, so what I've done is yeah, this would have been very difficult with the glue, so. And there you go. there is our treasure chest. I want to make sure that maybe why is it not working? And then I will put a latch on the front. And then my sides. Okay. We'll see how that works. Just make sure when you put your lid on that you're lining it up even on the back and you're hitting that 3-inch. So, I think that's what's wrong with mine is I went over a little bit more on the left side than I did on the right. So it's not really sitting well, but I think I'll be alright with it because once I put the latch on it and hook it, it'll be fine. So, alright, well, let me know if you have any questions and I will be back to share with you any more additions that I make on this. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. So coming back on just to let you know that I did do a couple more things that I didn't finish in the first video, is you want to make sure that you are using your seam binding to cover all your raw edges. So I went ahead and added it on both the front and the back and the two sides on the top of the box, and then also along the edge of the lid and then on the sides. And now this is a little tip that this is a correction to the video. So before attaching your lid, make sure that you are adding your seam binding onto this back edge, then do your then attach your lid at that point, because what's happening is otherwise you're going to have a raw piece of chipboard showing, in that you don't want that. So you do want to make sure that you are attaching your lid. You're putting this on your lid before you attach it. So, and then I'm going back in to correct mine. So, all right. I just wanted to make sure that you all know that in order to finish it, to give it a finished look, that you add your seam binding to all your raw edges.